So, welcome everyone. My name is Angus, and I am one of the Epic binary option trainers. So, a little bit about my background. I've actually been teaching binary options for over 6 years now, professionally. And I have my own group, and we trade twice a day. And on average, we take about 10% a day as our profit in 2 sessions. Um, Binary options are different from ordinary options. And I'm going to go through that with you now in a minute and explain why, binary options are different from Forex. And I'm going to explain that all to you now, so you have a basic understanding of it. We've been trading for the last couple of weeks with Epic as well. And before Christmas, I was doing it here for the Winner's Circle. And I think we've been doing quite well. We've been averaging maybe 5 or 6 winning trades a session and taking some nice winners. Now, what you saw earlier on, I'm just going to share my screen again, are my charts, the charts I use for taking trades. So let me know when you can see my my charts. Can you see them? Give me a yes. Yeah, okay, thanks, Emmy. Okay, now these are my charts, and they may look really confusing and you're not sure what that's all about, okay? I'm going to give you a little document I've prepared before, which is basically getting ready for binary options trading. What this is everything from how to register an account right through to my indicators explained, and my money management explained, and also charts to or a spreadsheet to allow you to track your trades. And I'm going to share that with you guys now. So make sure you actually copy this and save it yourselves to your own Google Drive or whatever. And it's something you can go through over the weekend and bring yourself up to speed on how to trade binaries. Now, binaries are, as I said earlier, not the same as Forex. We trade Forex pairs, but with binaries, it's very simple. You have a win or a lose situation. In other words, what you do with binaries is you pick a pair. Okay, now with me, I only trade pairs that return over 80%, in this case, 85%. And I'm looking for that pair to either give me an overbought or an oversold signal. And then I will enter that trade for only 1 minute, because we can take trades with binaries from as little as 1 minute right up to 6 minutes on what's called turbo. And then you also have intraday and long-term trades as well. But you know what? I get bored. I get so bored waiting for the Forex trades to hit their mark, on the hour or the 4 hour or whatever. And what I discovered was actually the 1 minute charts do exactly the same as the 4 hour charts. Okay, they're actually just as accurate. So I like to do my trading and get out. So over the years, I've designed what looks like a mess in front of you here. But when you understand how to read it, it actually all makes sense. And I've got my own proprietary indicators here, which tell me when to enter or exit a trade. So the green, for example, is saying price is going to go up. And then the red tells me price is going down, and then green again. So here you can see it was actually giving me quite a few signals over the last 15 to 20 minutes. And here also, I got a signal for Euro GBP to go down. Now it went up the following couple of minutes and then went down again. And, it's now in a downward. It just gave us a signal a few minutes ago for for price to go back up. Now, if I'd entered exactly as it happened, I might have lost that trade, but then the following minute I would have won. I use a system for taking trades, and you need three things for a system. You need money management, a good broker, and good indication system, or charts, in other words, to let you know when price is overbought and oversold. And then you trade using those. So the first thing is the broker. Now, I use binary cent, but you can use whatever broker you like. The important thing is, though, that you only trade using my system, if you're trading with me, for trades over 80%. And the reason for that is I use a system called martingale. Now, that is designed to recover your trades. It's a bit controversial in the sense that it does actually risk quite a bit of your account if you lose. Now, this is my money management spreadsheet. You'll have it there in the document I just sent you, so you can have your own. Let's say we're going to trade with a $1,000 account. We only risk 1% of our account on the initial trade. 1% of our account on the initial trade. And if we win that, in this case at 80%, we make $8 profit. Now, because it's 1 minute, it's not always guaranteed that you're going to win in your first minute, okay? So we use a system to recover our losses from previous trades. We know that price is coming into the overbought or oversold area, but we're not sure 100% is it going to move on that minute. It may take 2 or 3 minutes, even 4, possibly 5 minutes before it actually changes direction. Now, hopefully we get it within the first 3, because after that it becomes a little, shall we say, stressful, because your first entry is 10, second entry in this case is 22.5. Well, actually, we would round it up. I'm just going to change this. Hold on a second. I'm going to change this so that it's there we go. That's where it should be. Now, so our first trade would be 10. Our second trade is 23. Okay, and what that does, if we win that trade, we get back the 10 we lost plus the $8 profit. Okay, so we still make our $8 profit, and we recover our previous trade's loss. If we have to go to a third, it goes up to 51. So you can see that's 5 times our original entry. But we're actually on this column here. This shows us what we're actually risking overall. So it goes 10, 33, 83, 197. Now that might seem crazy to some people that you're risking that much just to make $8. But trust me, the system does work over the medium to long term. Do we take losses? Yes, we do. Okay, but because of this actual system, we actually can recover our losses pretty quickly. And over the medium to long term, we can make really good profits. And that's the whole idea. In other words, we're compounding. Now, as the size of your account builds, so too will the size of your initial trade. So as soon as, for example, you get to 1100 in your balance, you will change this figure here to 11. And you'll see how your profit goes up to $8.80. And all these figures change also. Now, the thing to understand, though, is the risk, if you hit a 5th entry loss, is 44% of your account. Okay, so there is, quite a big risk of potential loss. So please, keep that in mind if you want to trade with me. However, as I say, I've been doing it for 6 years, and my results speak for themselves. So we've actually had a pretty good week, isn't that right, Haresh? Within the on the binary and brunch sessions, we've been taking good profits. Yesterday, we actually took 7 winners in half an hour and made 9.9%. Why? Because I entered a second entry on my last trade without realizing that in the last split second, my first entry won. So I got a bit of a bonus. So normally I would have expected to be around 6.5%, but we ended up with just under 10 in the end, which was lovely. Are you following me so far? Give me a yes in the chat box. If you are, give me a no if you're not. Ask questions, guys. Look, there's only 22 here. I'm happy enough for people to open their mics and ask questions if you need me to go through anything again. Okay, we have a few people actually waiting to be admitted. I'll just do that. Sort of, says Emmylou. Okay. Emmylou? Yep.
Angus, I got a little question. I mean, I know the system pretty much. I use it all the time. I don't have a problem with it because
Yep.
of the type of trader I am. Okay, so you see on the MBFX, right? Would you consider you see where the green line is, and then when it gives you that yellow, is that like a confirmation that okay, the sell is pertained there, or it could mix match?
Okay. So you're talking about this yellow line here, are you?
Yeah, I'm talking about that yellow line when it's overbought and oversold. But look at the other line. What do you call those? The green, the yellow, and the orange line.
The
Yes, there we go.
MBFX.
Yes, yeah, the MBFX, correct.
Okay. All right. Let me explain some of these indicators to you. Okay. So that you understand better, everyone. I have done, and again, there's an indicators explained video within that sheet I just gave you. But I use a lot of indicators, and you see a lot of the forex traders use very few, and they have their favorites. But because we're trading on a very tiny time frame, we need to really be sure that we're taking an entry at the right time. So what we're looking for is for as many different indicators to give us yes, I am ready to turn signal as possible. So for example, I'm just going to increase this in size so you can see. We just got a signal here. This is a proprietary signal that I have developed, and it's giving me a call signal. Now, it was on the 23.6, but the MBFX, which is what is called a value signal. In other words, it's telling me what the value of the price is at the moment. In other words, is it overbought or oversold? Now, it is at 52 there. That is telling me that price has still quite a bit of strength to either carry on down or go up. So as you can see, it didn't actually react to that indicator immediately, but now it's come down to a previous support. That's these blue dotted lines here. And you see how it's bouncing off that? It actually came down and just barely touched the lower Bollinger Band here. And now it's in this particular minute, it's heading up. So we may have taken a loss on that if we entered immediately, or if we'd waited, we'd probably be in profit as we speak now. Now, at the bottom here, what I have are 3 separate indicators. Okay, think of them as 3 separate indicators just overlapping each other, and they are floating freely up and down between each other. So one does not correlate to the other. Okay, so let me explain them to you now. The one that Haresh was talking about is this one here, the MBFX. Okay, that's the green, yellow, and orange. It's green when price is going up, okay, and when it's turning, it's yellow, and then when it's going down, it is orange. Okay. Now, I have two lines here in green at 20 and 80. When price is above 80, it's telling me that it's oversold. When it is below 20, it's telling me that it is over, sorry, when price is above 80, it's overbought, pardon me. And when price is below 20, it's oversold. So I like to see price, the NBFX below 20 before I take a call. I don't always wait for it to be there. It all depends on the other indicators also. But when it's below the 20, I'll go for a call. In other words, I'm saying the price is going to go up within the next minute. Or when it's above 80, I'll be looking for a put signal for price to come back down. Now I use a second price value indicator, and that's this one here. Okay, it's called the value charts. And the lines that correspond to it are the yellow ones, which are at 1.25 and 2, or minus 1.25 and minus 2. When the value chart comes down below minus 1.75, it triggers off this little yellow arrow for me, which tells me that price is in the overbought area and will probably go up shortly. Not always, but it will probably. And as you can see, actually, it did in the following candle. Okay. Now, when it comes back up above 1.25, so it can come down, trigger, and then go back up above the 1.25 by the end of that candle. I don't consider that oversold. It's still got strength to come back down. I like to try and ideally have the NBFX and the value charts in their respective oversold or overbought areas before I take a trade. One thing you need to read when you're reading these candles is that they don't always follow exactly what's happening up here. Having said that, in this case they are. Let's just take a look at Euro GBP and see if we can find something that I can show you. Okay, here we go. You see how price is actually going downhill here, okay? It's going down quite strongly. But notice here, the value charts, they came down okay, but then along here, they started going back up again. Yet price was, well, it was more or less going sideways and then down. But here it was going strongly upwards. So what is that telling me? What that was telling me was that actually price was gathering strength to come on down again, which it did for these two candles a little bit. But then it obviously got a very strong signal. You see how on the NBFX it was really well oversold. And then it shot up several times the previous, gosh, 10 or 15 candles. And that's a lovely sign for me. I love when I see a big, massive candle, because most of the time you're going to see price retract in the following candle. And that's exactly what it did. And in fact, it even gave a signal there and would have been a nice winner. Now, this red line is my Bollinger bandwidth. And what that is telling me is whether price is constricted or not. When it's in constriction, and it's just approaching it there, they see that there's two red lines, two red dotted lines. The first one is at 5 and the second one is at 8, or 0.0005 and 0.0008. When it goes below that 5 level, it officially for me is in what's called constriction. And that's where the bands are so narrow, okay? And prices, there it's only 47 pipettes. Whereas, for example, here where it was out of constriction, it was at 103, so twice. So in other words, the candles are nice and big, but when it's in constriction, they're actually quite small and narrow. And I'm always careful when I see price in constriction Would anyone like to give me an idea why I would be careful when I see prices in constriction? Okay, the reason is because price does not like being in constriction. It wants to break out from that area. And sometimes it'll break out in a way that it blasts through all of your usual indicators. And it does either a waterfall, which is going down, or stairs, which is going up, and just keeps going. And it can catch you out. So you have to watch out for that. Now, let's talk about some of the other indicators I like to use. You're probably looking at these nice big green lines here. These
Can I
are,
ask you a question first?
yes, of course you can, Christine.
It's about your signals that you get. Is that part of your program thing, or how do you add that to your system?
These are my own, the proprietary. I do sell my system, okay?
Yeah. Signals that you're part of it?
Yeah, these signals, when you're trading with me, you don't need it, okay? You don't need this if you're trading with me, because we'll be using my charts in order to decide when to take a trade or not. If you want to, you can talk to me privately, and you know, I do sell this system to people who want to trade on their own, but and it comes with all of these indicators, but you don't need it, okay? I need to emphasize that.
Yeah, but guys, yeah, like he said, you know, you definitely don't need it, but having it, you get to study it more and you get to understand more what Angus is teaching, and that's where, you know, I got the system, and at first, it looked like a bunch of, like, honestly, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like, yo, what the hell is this? Because I only trade from TradingView, and then I understood it, and now, you know, it's just patience of the game. You understand it. He could be there, you know, looking at the chart. You could be looking at something else, and you know, that's how you learn.
Yeah. And
You can
what I
break
like
down
about,
each one.
sorry, repeat that.
You can break down each one then so that you really understand.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a matter of really training your eye and your mind to see all the different indicators, okay? And then looking for the ideal entry points for your trade. They may not be. I mean, for example, here we had a put indicator, okay? Now it won in the first minute, but you see how price then recovered and went up. So if you look at the value chart, you see it wasn't in the oversold area for itself, and it came down, and then this particular one, it spiked up, okay? It spiked up into the oversold, and so did the MBFX, and then it plummeted down again here, okay? So it's a matter of also saying, well, you know, I don't like where it is there now at the moment. Maybe you might decide. In this case, though, I would have been quite happy to take a trade because it was at 61.8 on the Fibonacci. It was on the mid-Bollinger. It gave me a signal. Those are three reasons to take it. Okay. But then price decided, no, I'm not ready. And it went back up after that. Now it came up to the 100 Fibo. Okay. Now, actually, whether it was at the 100 when it got to that point or not, I'm not 100% sure, but it came within, as we say in Ireland, spitting distance of the resistance line here. It also touched the outer Bollinger, so you know, and it suddenly shot back down, and it gave a sort of a hanging doji there, and that one is a sign that, you know, price is not sure what it wants to do. But then suddenly you see it made up its mind, and poof, down it went, and would have been a nice winner. Then it gave a signal here again. See the green arrow, and it wasn't sure in that minute. It came down, tested a low, and then it started to go up again. It's still not sure. The price isn't actually in my overbought area as far as the MBFX is concerned. It is, however, sort of nearly in that overbought area as far as the value chart. However, my only problem now is that, well, unless it comes down to maybe this point here, You see the support, which is the blue dotted lines. That would be possibly my next entry, or actually, now my next entry might be when it hits the SHI. See how it just touched the SHI and bounced back up off it. Okay. Now it's testing, testing, testing. It keeps testing the different areas of support and resistance. And there could be several in the one area. And the ideal would be to find an area where there are several before you enter your trade. So in this case, the SHI is just redrawn to a new position. Now, price has just come down to this support area here. Okay, it is now overbought. However, do you notice how the value charts have been moving up? So they're no longer technically overbought, or sorry, oversold, because they've come out of the zone between the two yellow lines. So here you might be thinking, I don't know what's going on here. Do I take that trade or not? But it's testing the previous supports. I would wait now. If I'd been in that for three for a loss, I'd be looking to wait to see price starting to move back up again. Because if I'd taken it at the beginning, I'd have had 3 losses. And I'm now thinking, what's it going to do? It still has strength. It's still wanting to go down, even though on the MBFX it's in the overbought area. But you see how it's challenging this support area here. And it's done it 2 or 3 times. And now it's starting to go up. So we'll just see where it finishes. Okay, it's finishing on a doji, so that's indecision. It's not sure what it wants to do, but it is overbought. However, value charts are telling me it has strength to carry on down. So I might wait for a confirmation, in other words, for price to finish in an upward direction before I would re-enter that for a call. So this is how I read the charts. The other indicator, which I love here, is called the Fibonacci. Fibonacci was a 15th century Italian mathematician, and he discovered in nature there was a mathematical formula. Okay, and that formula can be found in nature, and it's basically it goes like the sum of the previous numbers is your Fibonacci. So 0 plus 1 plus 2 is 3, and then 3 plus 2 is 5, etc., etc. And now this is the actual mathematical formula here worked out. And somebody decided, I think it was back in the 80s, I wonder would Fibonacci's formula correlate to trading? And he got an indicator designed and put up, and sure enough, it does. Now, the way it works is you take the previous high and the previous low, and you draw your Fibonacci. So it goes from 0 to 100, and then outside of that high and low, it goes 1618 and 2618. And if you notice how prices is sort of stopping and testing each of those Fibonacci levels. Now, for me, the main ones are 0, 38.2, 61.8, 100, and then obviously these bigger ones here. So I love to see price test those areas. And you see how there was a strong area of support, which is now acting as resistance all along that line, okay? All along this area here at the Fibo 50. And you see how it just tested that? It touched the mid-Bollinger and retracted. So I might be looking, if I had a signal here, I might be looking, why would I want to take an entry here? Well, because all of these are lining up. We've got loads of different supports, which now act as resistance. Once support is broken, it now becomes resistance, and vice versa. Okay, previous support becomes resistance, previous resistance becomes support once broken. Now again, it's testing that area right up to the minute. So it's going to go down again. Now it has strength. It does have strength to break up through that area of support. Okay, so obviously I wouldn't be taking a trade here. I have no other signal indicator. I'm just trying to point out to you how you would look for different areas as to whether to take a trade or not. In this case, if I didn't have the value charts and the MBFX, I might be tempted to take that trade. Okay, if I was just looking at these on their own. But what's telling me, what these here at the bottom are telling me, is that really, price isn't that overbought. So maybe you're better off waiting and seeing what happens. I didn't actually carry on telling you about what these green lines were. This is a channel. Now you'll notice that price loves to go in channels. In other words, bouncing off from a low to a high, to a low to a high, to a low to a high. And what it does is it draws between the previous highs or the previous lows parallel lines. And you see how price is, sort of bouncing off these areas beautifully. Okay, and it just loves to do that. So when you see price approaching the SHI lines, that might be a good area to take a trade as well. Or we also have the holy channel, and that's what's called a non-linear. This is a linear, the SHI, that's a linear channel. Then we have a non-linear channel. In other words, it's more fluid, it bends with the different movement of price, because it doesn't stick to a channel for very long. It's always moving. It's live almost. And the holy channel is lovely because it's a great indicator, again, when it's in the red zone, whether price is above or below. When it's below here, it's overbought, oversold, and when it's above, it's overbought. And it also gives me an idea of where price is wanting to go in the future. Now, what it's telling me here is that, price in the next little while is probably going to be looking to head upwards and break out of this zone here that it's been sort of in for the last little while. But you can see how these arrows have been going lower, lower, lower. So it's been lower indications up to now. So at the moment, the trend has been downwards, but there is a possibility that price is going to look to go upwards in the next little while. This indicator here that I use is basically a quick visual of what price has been doing over the previous time frame. So it goes from 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly. So I at a quick glance here, I can see that obviously in the last 5 or 6 minutes, price has been going up, but over the 5 minute, 15 and 30 minute charts, it's been heading downwards. Okay. All right. So as you can see there, price has generally been heading downwards. I can see that it's been more or less flat over the 1 hour and 4 hour. That's the yellow. That's what the yellow means. It's in the 1 hour and 4 hour, it's been more or less going sideways. So overall, I would assume that price is looking to trend downwards. Okay, and I look at this to decide, do I really want to take this trade? Do I want to take a trade that's going against the trend or with the trend? Am I making sense so far? Can you, Jem, look, I don't want to talk about it here. You're more than welcome to message me privately if you want to talk to me about that. I just don't want to break any rules as far as EPIC is concerned. Okay. Okay. Now, where else were we? Okay. You're probably wondering about what all of these arrows are. The yellow arrows, as I mentioned earlier, are when the value charts are below 1.75, they trigger the yellow. I then got the blue, magenta, and there's another one, orange, and they're a mixture of the moving average, RSI, MBFX, and a few other indicators, and they're sort of graded from the blue. So it goes blue, magenta, orange. When it's at orange, it is at like 95%. And 9 times out of 10, price will turn on the orange arrow. However, this morning, it didn't for us. In fact, it was the third candle after that orange before it turned. So what that was telling me was that the banks were in charge, and they had an agenda, and they were just piling in the billions to move price to a certain specific area before they allowed it to come back. When the banks are playing, nothing we can do will change it. They've got the money. And in fact, at any one time, there's usually about 5 major banks trading, and they actually work with each other, surprise, surprise, to basically take your money off the table. That's why you get, spiked out in Forex trades, because they know where your stop losses are in Forex. They know, and they are going to take them out, take your money, and then let price go back up again. How often has that happened to you?
Yeah, those are called stop hunters. Stop hunters are out to get you, and once they wake you out, they continue doing what they're doing.
Yeah, they're basically the big banks, and they have the money. I'm thinking of banks like Deutsche and Citi and those sort of guys. They have the money to plow it in and steal your money. That's basically what they do. So what we need to do is play clever as well, and by using an indicator system such as this, we can hopefully win more than we lose. But we're not always bang on. So, for example, I've got a signal here. I wouldn't have taken it where it was, but let's say I did, I'd be in a losing trade at the moment. So that's why I use the martingale. So my next trade, I'd be getting ready as we speak to enter for my second entry. Now, I might say to myself, is there any reason to take that trade just here? Well, there is, because it's found an area of support and it's stalled there. So it's deciding whether it's going to go up or not. Now, so there's a fight on at the moment between the bulls and the bears. Now the bears look like they just won it. See how they brought it down? It touched this previous support, okay, which is also here. Touch that support and the zero Fibonacci, and almost bounce straight back off it. So what I might do is, if I wasn't certain after that, I might say, okay, I'm going to wait for price to actually come down to this point and enter it. Now let's just take a look. What pair is that? Euro GBP. Okay, let's just take a look at this. Let's see what it's done in the last minute. So come on, center. Okay, so you can see how it zipped down, and within a second. So that's only literally a couple of seconds. Bang bang. So the chance of getting your entry point here is very low. But even if we got it here instead, we'd be in a really nice position to be winning that trade. So that was it. We would have said had an entry at 15 seconds past. So we would have won that nicely, because 15 seconds would have been just here. So that would have been a nice win for us. Potentially a second entry. All right. Now, the only problem with taking trades on the 1 minute time frame, especially when, for example, this morning we had 6 trades for the first time since December, 6 pairs that we could trade for the first time since December with my morning group. And we decided to really go for it at the midday session. That's midday UK time. And we actually ended up taking 20 trades. Sometimes we were in 2 or 3 trades at once. Now, the problem with that is, first of all, tracking your trades. And secondly, being able to enter the trades quick enough. And binary cent don't make it necessarily easy because they've got all of their pairs up and down here. Now, you could have, let's say, UJ, and the next thing you get Aussie USD, and you have to scroll all the way down to here, click on it, enter your initial trade size, and click call or put. And then you have to scroll all the way back up and find your UJ again, and enter your, let's say, your second trade size, and hit call or put. So a few years ago, I was sort of musing out loud to myself, and wouldn't it be great to have an app that would enter your trade size for you on the martingale, allow you just to click to watch here, see how it changes, and let's say I want USD CHF. So watch what happens here. I click here, picks USD CHF, and it enters the initial trade size. Now watch here again, the price, when I click 2. See, it rewrites the price. Now let's say I was in the second trade for USD CHF, but Euro GBP, I'm in my third trade, and I'm looking at my open trades, and I see it's about to finish, but it's in a loss, so I want to take a third entry. So I click on Euro GBP, and I click on third here, and within a second or so, that's ready. Otherwise, I'd have to scroll up and down, look for Euro GBP, type in 212.52. I've only tapped in 212, and then click on call or put. That could take 2 to 3 seconds. So this little app was developed. You do not need it. Okay, you do not need it. If you have this, that's all you need. But if you're seriously going to trade binaries, then this is a very valuable little app to have. Now, I've asked the developer to actually add in other brokers, so you don't have to just have binary cent. If you've got VIDA or IQ or race options, it'll work for them as well. And also, he's putting in the other time frames from 1 minute up to 6. So, for example, if you're trading with Haresh and Coach Thomas, Coach Carver, then you can trade with them using this little app as well. The only thing you have to keep in mind is the martingale is based on 80% or above, okay? So it wouldn't work if they're taking a trade on, say, 75. You need to go back to the manual entry here. I think I gave the link to that in that spread, that sheet I gave you at the very beginning. If you want to look into that, he gives you 2 weeks free, okay, and after that it's 130 pounds sterling, which is roughly about 175 for the year for that little app. Again, you don't need it, but if you decide that binary is for you, then it's an invaluable little app. And that new version will be out hopefully on Monday. Okay, let me just go through some questions. When it comes to the martingale, do you start back at 1% if you win the previous trade? Yes, Paul, I do. For example, if your first 2 trades are losses, but your third is a winner, do you go back to 1%? Yes, I do. Good question. So, let's say I was on Euro GBP and I win in my third entry. I then immediately click here again. there is a facility where you can enable level restart. So let's say I was on 3 here, and I'm just going to click here. If I change my currency pair, you see how it automatically goes back up to 1? That's a useful little feature if you tend to forget. I have been known to forget to go back to 1 in my excitement. I take a 3rd level entry on my first trade. That can become uncomfortable if you don't win in your first entry. But the bonus is you get a nice about 8% profit if you do win. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, what I'm going to do is type in Telegram, my Telegram address here, if any of you need to contact me and have other questions, you're welcome to do so. Okay, we had a signal here. Okay, let's look at this one and see whether we would have taken it. So it was on the 23.6. Okay, it wasn't near a lower Bollinger. It wasn't on a support or resistance. Well, let's just draw a line here and just double check that. No, it was not on a support or resistance, although it came down and just touched. It came down and just touched this one here, before it bounced back up. See that? It wasn't in the holy channel. So there was only 2 reasons to take it: the Fibonacci and the indicator. Now, as it happens, it would have been a winner, but I would have been uncomfortable taking it. I'd rather see that price further down here before I would have entered it, because the NBFX is definitely not in an oversold area. It's at 45. Okay, I'm looking for ideally somewhere around the 20 or less. You don't have to take every time you get an indication. You don't have to take it. The idea is you build up all of the other indicators that you have to decide whether to take a trade. If you've been following Coach Carver, he's been giving you some really good education. Oh my goodness, he's got some really good stuff there. I don't use all of those ones necessarily on my.
I don't give a good education to Angus.
What's that? Oh yes, okay.
I don't give good education to.
Oh, sorry, pardon me. Haresh gives excellent, excellent education as well. But no, I was thinking of what Coach Carver was doing. For example, on his yesterday, I was watching it. And, yeah, he's giving some really good stuff there as well. Unfortunately, Haresh, I'm normally asleep when you're doing your training sessions. Okay, now we have a signal here on Euro AUD. Now, why would I not want to? Why would I have not necessarily wanted to have taken that signal? Anyone like to give me an idea? Why would I have waited? Okay, I'll tell you why. Look at the
Not
holy
enough
channel.
confirmations, yeah.
Not past the 80.
Yeah, it's not past the 80, but also look at the steep rise in the holy channel. Remember, we were looking at it earlier, and I was talking about it wanting to move upwards. That's exactly what it's done. See, it's broken out of that area of constriction. It still is officially in constriction. It doesn't come out of constriction until it comes above the 8 there. But that's what it was trying to do. Now, as it happens, it would be a 3rd entry, potentially win. Okay, but I would have waited. I'm not sure where it redrew this SHI, whether it just redrew it, but if it was there earlier, I would have waited for it to hit there. It broke through the Bollinger Band, and look at this. Here's another good hint. You see this candle here? What's special about that candle compared to all of the others? Look at the Bollinger Bands. Where is it in relation to the Bollinger Bands compared to all of the other candles?
Closed outside.
Closed outside. Yeah. When you see a candle, the whole of it
Yeah.
closing outside of the Bollinger Band, 9 times out of 10, or maybe not 9 times, but certainly 8, it is going to retract or retrace. And that's exactly what it did beautifully. That would have been a beautiful trade to take. Okay. So, okay, we got the signal. It's outside the Bollinger Band. It touched the SHI and it's outside the Bollinger Band. Beautiful. Yeah, let's take that one. Down it came. And it's continued. So there's another one to look out for. And it works for Forex too. But you know, why do I want to spend all day looking at charts to make 5 or 10% when I can do it in 15 to 20 minutes in binary? That's my philosophy. All right, guys. I know we haven't taken any trades, and the main reason is I wanted to do teaching today. But you can see how we would have taken some of those trades beautifully and won. All right, good. All right, Renee, super. Now, one thing, guys, when you're trading with me or when you're trading binary options, take at least 2 weeks before you trade live. Take 2 weeks before you trade live. Get a demo account. Now, with binaries, unfortunately, they make you fund your account before they give you a demo account. But please be disciplined. Like anything else, it's something you have to learn. And if you don't understand it, you're going to make mistakes, and you will anyway. And that's going to cost you on your live. I want you to make mistakes on your demo account. And if any of you blow your demo account, especially if you're trading with me at the time, I want you to send me the your results. Okay, your closed. I'll just show you what I mean by that. I want you to send me your so you'd go here to your closed. I can't show it to you because I haven't taken any trades today, but let's look at yesterday. Okay, and okay, there we go. So here were yesterday's trades. So what you do is you take a screenshot of this and send it to me and say, Angus, where did I go wrong? And very quickly I can usually spot where you went wrong. Okay, and here's what I was talking about yesterday. Our last trade, we in Euro AUD, first entry lost. Okay, now it didn't lose by a huge amount, but we re-entered, and it looked like I was going to lose, and I re-entered. I thought I had actually lost. You see, I re-entered 1 second before the close of the second of the second entry. I entered at 17 seconds past, and the second entry didn't close until 18 seconds past. And it obviously spiked at the last second and gave me a win, which was wonderful. And then I won the third entry as well. So technically that was like, that was giving me, a nice extra percentage of profit. So that was it. That was lovely. Okay, we're nearly the hour. I don't want to go over the hour, but any other questions, guys?
Yeah, I saw flowers here went 5-0. That is phenomenal. I mean that you're learning and you're following, which is awesome. And I myself for the system, whilst I'm here learning indicators more with Angus, I went 4-1. I won 4 of the all my trade was first entry. So the system's pretty work good today. So guys, it's worth it.
Absolutely, guys.
May I make a comment as well?
Yes. Who's
Because
that?
I've been following Angus since
Christine.
before Christmas. I was on a live demo, and yeah, I did take some losses. Now I've taken his what he mentioned, and I'm on a demo just to get used to everything really well. And actually things are going well, so I'm hoping in another week or so to go back on my live and get that back up. So
Christine,
thank you, Angus.
may I share with them where you were going wrong at first? Is that all right? Because remember I asked you to send me your trading results.
Yeah, and I know it was me. It was a mental thing of not following.
Yeah. So and look, you know, anyone can do this. Okay. What Christine was doing wrong? Well, there were a few things. She didn't understand the system. Okay. And she was just taking $10 trades one after the other, whether she won or lost. Okay. She kept on entering at the same price, which is what you would ordinarily think that's what you do. Okay. But because she was re-entering, you know, sometimes I was going to the third or fourth entry before we actually won. Now, so she was losing $30, okay, before we won our fourth entry, say, and so she would have lost $30 in that trade, and she would have got back $8 profit. So she would have been down 28, whereas I would have been up at least 8, probably more. If it was at 85%, I might have been up 10 or 12. So Christine couldn't understand why I was making money and she was losing money, purely and simply because she didn't at the time understand my system of the martingale. So I'm quickly going to just share this screen again. So this here, she didn't understand that's what she was supposed to be doing. Okay. And again, this is why I'm saying to you guys, I want you to, and I've given it all to you. Okay. I want you to understand this system if you're going to trade with me in the live sessions, and practice on demo first. Prove to yourself you can make money using it, and do so. Now, and I'm going to finish on this. This is not for everyone. Okay, you may find this way too stressful. If you do, don't trade with me. Haresh and Coach Carver probably have a more laid back and simpler way of trading. I'm I'm somebody who likes to go for the quick buck and the excitement, and I'm willing to risk, because I know my system well enough. I'm willing to risk quite considerable amount of my account in order to make the profit. But every so often, guys, I do take that loss, okay? I do a lot of damage to my account, but it only takes usually 3 days at most to recover. This week, actually, with my private clients, we actually did it at least twice. We took a loss, but I still ended up 23% for the week, which for me is actually quite poor. But we still ended up in profit, even with taking the losses. So you don't look at you don't look at your wins or losses over the short term. You look at them over the long term, over the weeks or months. Okay. So sometimes you may be in a losing position. Don't panic. Just trust the system and trade your way out of it, and it works. Okay. I mean, I've gone from an account of less than 3,000 to 100,000 in a matter of 4 weeks. When I was really on the ball and wasn't taking any losses. So, you know, it's possible for you to do the same. I'm okay. All right. Look, we are over the time. Marlene is just joining us. I'm going to say hi to Marlene. Hi, Marlene. Sorry, you've joined just in time for us to finish. Apologies about that. I have this recorded, and I will put it up in the winner circle, and maybe the guys from Lion's Den will share it with you as well if you're in the Lion's Den. So thank you all. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all 12 midday Eastern, 5 o'clock GMT on Monday within the EPIC group. So thanks everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. See you. Bye, Emmy.